everyone. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up sign. Can you hear me? Hi, Tommy. Extensive Sparkles Healthy Style. Hi. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. Okay, thank you. So good evening. Thank you so much for joining. I just think we should wait for a bit more people to join, and then we'll just start in a few minutes. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year. How's the year going for you so far? How's the year going for you so far? I don't know if anybody can hear me though. Wow, quiet. Can just comment. My year is going fantastic. Yeah, I'm still in holiday mood. I can just imagine. I can imagine. But it's just best to have. It's just best to have a positive outlook on things, and regardless, just push forward. You just never know what the year holds at the end of the day. So, so we just have the best mind towards the year. Okay. So I think I'll just start, and hopefully more people join. So basically, this is my very first Instagram live, and I'm so excited. God help me. And I just hope I can share one or two things that can, help people, especially, graduates and employees, people who are just looking to get better jobs and all of that. So, I mean, the idea behind this is, because, looking at today and looking at where we are right now, I think it's just critical, that because I'm very sure that a lot of people are, a bit frustrated, discouraged, in terms of getting a job or, financially, or their earnings and all of that, in terms of how the work is right now, and how businesses are suffering. I'm very sure that graduates and employees are, a bit shaken up and just literally don't even know what holds out there right now. Regardless of what is going on, I think it's just best that people just sort of understand how to really position in these times, and all of that. Whether you even own a job, or most especially as you're an employee working 9 to 5, I think it's just critical to have the right mindset in these times, so that you can position rightly, to get the best, because there are people that are still getting great results even in these seemingly hard times. So yes, this is what I just want to talk about is mindsets that we need to have as workers. Let me use that word, workers, in this time. So my name is Rolly Wilkie. In case anybody here doesn't know me, I am the founder of the Rolly Wilkie company. So basically what we set out to do is help employees, graduates, be employable. The job market today, there are millions of youth, millions of graduates who come out of school, come out of the university, and they are not necessarily equipped for the workplace. They're not equipped for the job market. In Nigeria today, we have about over 13 million youths who are unemployed. That's a very alarming number, and even the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics has forecasted that in this year 2021 and beyond, the rate of unemployment is spiking higher to about 32%, slightly over 32%. I think that that's just a very scary thing to think about, that you go to your university, and you come out, but you're literally struggling, you're frustrated, because it's like, I don't even know how I'm going to get a job. I don't even know how I'm going to be able to sustain myself in this economy. But I think it's just critical that, one, the mindset that one has is the right type of mindset, and two, there are skills that one must have, in order to be able to thrive in this season, in this decade that we're in right now. So 1.8 million youths literally enter the job market every year, annually. I want to just think about that. 1.8 million youths join the job market annually, and yet we have 13 million youths, graduates or non-graduates, combination of both, out of jobs. It's crazy. So I think that a lot of times we hear people say, "Oh, I beg, there are no jobs in Nigeria. Nigeria is this, Nigeria is that." But we then hear people still come out and say, "Oh, I got good jobs." Of course, yes, for those of us who are Christians, there's the God factor, which we allude to. But there's also a place where we have to do our part, in terms of how we position, how we equip ourselves. We have to innovate, we have to reinvent ourselves. You literally have to be ahead, for you to thrive. So we see that people, so for instance, if a company puts out an opening for a job now, it's crazy how they will spend months and weeks trying to find a right fit for that job or for that job role. It's crazy, so they just go on and on, and it's almost, and then recruiters literally complain about how there's a dearth of skills in the marketplace. You see graduates that cannot write their CVs. You see graduates that cannot present themselves, can't speak well. And you're wondering, so how do I employ you to represent my company on any front? Whether you are admin, whether you are at a managerial level, whatever level you are. So I don't want to overflog the issue of the fact that our education curriculum is just not well done, to prepare graduates for the workplace, to prepare employees for the workplace. So at whatever level you are, whether you are a fresh graduate or you you have worked, for a couple of years, there are just certain skills. Even now, you still have to be able to do an assessment to ask yourself where you are, where you fall, in the scheme of things. Are you properly equipped, for this decade and beyond, for the type of work that is required? So for instance, there's stuff we call employability skills, right? And that ranges from effective communication, to leadership, to etiquette, to all those types of things, emotional intelligence, But however, because we're in a decade where digital skills are very, very important, I think it's just important that we also need to be able to know how to infuse both our digital skills and employability skills to be able to thrive in the workplace. For instance, if somebody works as an admin person, an admin role, right now there are all sorts of platforms, there are all sorts of digital tools or technological tools that exist that literally can throw people out of their jobs, as in working in admin. So you need to be able to be hands-on. How good am I? How good are my technical skills? How good is my technical know-how? There's Slack, there's Microsoft Teams, there's all sorts. So how good am I able to use this, to be able to help my organization do better in whatever function, and virtual work right now is literally the way to go. So we're going to be seeing more people take advantage of working from home. We're going to see more people take advantage from working from home. So how are you literally positioning yourself such that when they want to do a review of whether or not they need your services in that organization, right? How are you positioning yourself such that your services or your job function, your job role will still be important, such that it will be hard to, put you out? Because you see sometimes employers saying, "Oh, you know what? Thank you for serving, but you understand how things are right now. We can no longer keep you." But there's certain people that just don't go. They stay there. It's not jazz or anything. It's just that they are too useful to the organization, for them to be let go. So the question is, what are you doing? What kind of mindset are you also having? I heard someone say something, Nightingale, and he said, that sorry, I wrote the quote down so that I don't say it wrongly. He says what you get is always in direct proportion to what you have. That's the capacity that you have. So what is your capacity exactly? How relevant are you in these times? How relevant? So whatever you're doing, whether it's business or not, how relevant are you to these times, in terms of the fact that right now everybody's just going on and on and on about having digital skills. We cannot overflog that idea. So how are you infusing the use of digital tools into everything that you do, whether you're an employee, whether you work a 9 to 5, or whether you're just selling fruits by the wayside. You have a shop and you're just selling fruits. Of course, yes, people will say, "Oh, so our target markets are different," and yes, there's all of those factors. But I'm saying, on a larger scale, you still need to be able to infuse all of this into everything that you do. So I've talked about about employability skills. This is just so critical. So even I know that there's some people here who are business owners, right? So you need to also be able to say, in terms of when I want to hire and hire right, how am I able to get the right fit for my business, for the work that I do, such that I'm not employing an admin person and complaining 2 weeks down the line. You need to also be able to say, okay, so what do I need to look out for? By the time you define all of those things that you really need, one of the very key things that every staff must have right now, it is just too critical, are employability skills. You cannot, and no staff, no employee, no worker, no business owner can thrive without these skills. I mean, I've spoken to a number of business owners, and they always say how that some of their staff don't know how to use things like Excel. Those are technical skills, right? They don't know how to do a PowerPoint presentation. They don't know, the basics of even business communication, right? So you're sending an email and you say, yeah, thanks, things like that. You don't know how to start an email, how to, phrase your email, how to end it, So there are all of those complaints and all of those things, But these are things that were not taught to us in the university and schools. But we cannot keep saying that, our education system is flawed. We need to be able to go out there and get these skills. And that's one of the things that we do at the Rolly Wilkie Company. We train people, we equip them with these skills, such that you can do a killer presentation, your CV, it's so crazy. Your CV is literally like it's just a picture of who you are in terms of professionally. That's just what it's a story about your professional journey, basically. That's what your CV is. When you see someone who went to school, stayed in school for 4 years, 5 years, studied a course, and cannot talk about where he's coming from, where he's going to, So yes, I've talked about learning digital skills. I know that a lot of people say that, there are no jobs, But I always say to people, go and intern. Go and volunteer. I myself, I recently volunteered, a few months back, and those skills that I've learned, I've put them in my CV, I put them in my resume. So when the opportunity comes up, I'm able to say, I've worked in this capacity and I'm able to do A, B, C, D, E, right? So I think that one of the mindsets that is just so critical to have is a mindset of problem solving, and being able to find solutions to every, problem. That way you're building capacity. That way you become so valuable that people want you. Your mind is just so important, it's just so critical. So what you take in, how you are building your mind, your capacity in terms of what you want to earn is so important. So by the time you are building, all of those things, when the opportunity arises, it won't be hard. It's easy for people to gravitate towards you because you are building that capacity. So, you don't just sit down on your oars and say, there's no work. There's work. Sit down, think, and say, what are the problems right now that I can solve? And sometimes you take the bull by the horn. You go to companies that you see have an issue and say, I think I can prefer a solution to this problem that you have. You might end up being hired, you might not end up being hired, but then, hi Lola, you can send us an email and we can go further on how to go about training you on that. I would pin the email here down, but it's the Rolly Wilkie Company just co@gmail.com. Let me just type it. I'm so sorry, just give me a second. Okay, yes, okay, that's it. Okay, yes, sorry, when you mean voice note of this session or a training? Okay, yes, I'm so sorry about that. So basically, building capacity, being able to build capacity in your mind. A lot of people, also what you want to earn, what you want to attract, it starts from your mind, how you're thinking. I want to talk about your brand. as a person, your brand as a professional. Building a professional brand is so critical. I always say that social media right now is literally your number one. You know how when you're writing your CVs and they say, oh, provide us with at least 2 referees, right? Social media is like the number one referee right now. It's like the number one referee, for people in terms of, people being able to say, oh, I want to check how you've behaved, where you were before. But people literally go to social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, to check, to say, what's going on? This young woman, this young man that I want to hire, what is he like out there? Because it's one thing for you to write a nice CV, put up a good resume, and then you're all good in front of the employer, but he needs to be able to check out what he's paying for. So it's not just even as an employee, but even as somebody who is building a business, it's just so critical for you to focus on how you're positioning yourself as a professional, out there. It's your reference point. If you say that, you need to have, what are your values? If you say that this is who you are as a person, then you need to stand by it. You need to have values, values that you stay true to, and not just that you say one thing out there and it's another thing, out there. So hello Lolade. Okay. So finally, I just want to talk about how, sometimes the reason why we struggle so much in terms of getting jobs, getting work, even, I know that what I'm saying is mostly targeted at graduates, whether new graduates or mid-level or experienced graduates, but I think it's also just critical for life as well. First thing one must do is have a destination that they're going to. Like, where am I going to in terms of my work, in terms of my career, in terms of my business? Where am I going to? Where is my destination? For instance, if I said I wanted to go, I can just wake up and say I'm going to the West. I can't just wake up and say I'm going to the West. Where? Like, the West is so broad. The West, and I mean Western Nigeria, is so broad. I need to be able to say I'm going to Lagos. Even in Lagos, you can't just say I'm going to Lagos. Where in Lagos? You have to be specific. Create a picture of where you're going to. And so I always say, find out who you are first. You've got to know yourself. And in our curriculum, at our graduate employability training school, one of the things that we infuse into the curriculum is self-mastery, being able to know yourself. Because I think that a lot of young people, a lot of youths, do not know themselves. They struggle. It's almost like, today I'll do this one, tomorrow I'll do that one. I'm not saying it's not good to have ideas. I think it's amazing. Some people are just creative, they just burst with ideas. But if you know yourself, you're able to have better direction. You're able to even direct those ideas, that creativity, that creative power, that creative skill. So yes. So secondly, what do you desire out of work? I've said that. What do you desire out of work? Is it just money? Or is there something you're trying to contribute beyond just what you earn? Is there something else? Do you have value that you're trying to contribute? If you look at it like that, then it makes all the difference. And lastly, check what gaps you have in terms of your capacity. Professionally, what gaps do you have in terms of your capacity? And then you begin to, when you sit down like that and begin to do that review, and you say, oh, okay, so I'm going to maybe Ikeja in Lagos, right? But however, I find that this is where I am now, but I don't have maybe enough in terms of whether a car or money or whatever to be able to get there. So let me bring it home. Your dream in terms of your career is maybe to become a leading lady in maybe HR or whatever industry, right? You need to be able to say, okay, but maybe I am at level 0. I'm still at the level of maybe all I can earn right now is just 50,000 naira, for instance. You need to be able to say, this is where I'm. Okay, why am I here? I'm here because I don't have the capacity in terms of knowledge. I don't have the capacity in terms of experience. I don't have the capacity in terms of my what I know, what my the value that I can bring to the table. So I'm going to begin to map and say, okay, if I can do a course every quarter, every month or whatever, I can then say, oh yes, this is how much it would take me to get there, to where I'm going. Are there are there networks that I need to join? Are there people that I need to begin to associate with, that would literally position me, in that space and spike me higher? Get a mentor as well. We cannot overemphasize the importance of having a mentor in terms of your career or even your business, as well. So yes. Does anyone have any questions or contributions? You're welcome. Your contributions are welcome. Hi, Rich Clans. Welcome. Okay, I see some of you here that are employers of, you know, or sorry, business owners. Are there, challenges that you also have with employees? What do you have a story to share as well? Because I just think it's also critical for you to also begin to say, oh, how do I find the best fit for my business? So you're not always complaining, and maybe we can just talk about it as well. Okay, so thank you everyone so much for joining. But before we go, I'd just like to share a few things. So if you know a graduate, or if you like to sign up for our graduate employability training school, please send us an email in the email that I've provided, the Rolly Rookie Company, at gmail.com. And we would announce when we would be launching it, when we'll start. But I'm looking at this first quarter. Yes, and also we have a workshop coming up on the 23rd of this month, January. It's tagged positioning for work. How one can position as a professional in this year and beyond. We have a guest, Ivie Temtayo Ibitoye. She's also an expert in HR, in the HR field, as well. She's the founder of Work in Nigeria. So yes, it will be very insightful, and I think that everyone who is literally trying to position to get a better job, should be there. Yes. So please send an email to the Rolly Rookie Company at gmail.com. And also, if you would like to sign up for my podcast, which would start next week, Tuesday, also please follow me on Anchor FM at Rolly Wilkie. That's my name on Anchor FM. That's where the podcast will be shared. And finally, next week I will be discussing 5 critical things about the workplace that every graduate needs to know. So please share the word. Tell every graduate out there that you know to join. We'll be here again, same time next week, Friday, by 7 p.m. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so grateful to everyone. Thank you, Rich Clans. Thank you, Lola Day. Thank you, Orezi. Thank you, thank you, Flosaren. Thank you, Osinaji. Thank you, Shatwene, Extensive, Tomi. Thank you, everyone, so much. I'm so grateful. And I look forward to seeing you again. See you. Have a lovely week, or a lovely weekend, rather. Bye.